And we are live. Awesome. So, Randy, how did you get into, well, first off, what do you do? And like, what company are you working in?
Yeah. So I'm the CCO of Jopwell, a platform that helps connect underrepresented minorities with top-tier companies. So what that means is companies partner with us who are looking to increase the diversity, and then candidates sign the platform and can apply for job roles through there, or companies can reach out and to candidates that seem to fit a role that they're looking for, to actually be able to work at the company. And so a lot of what we're doing is essentially providing access to opportunities at scale between people who have a lot of trouble reaching each other before. A lot of times people hire from their networks, and if their networks aren't diverse, then they'll have a hard time finding diversity there. From the candidate side, it's a huge win because they're basically able to get access to a lot of different companies that they didn't even know they could work at before. A lot of times, some company may seem like a tech company, but really they have roles available across the entire company, across sales, across account management, across product. And so, being able to give access across there is a huge win for individuals.
Okay, awesome. So like, how did you get into technology and like wanted to be a programmer?
Yeah, so I would say my interest in making things started when I was definitely young. My mom's an art teacher, and so we always had like different projects there. I played an astounding amount with Legos, and I got like super into origami at some point during middle school. So like I had like a huge career of like just wanting to like make things. But it actually really wasn't until college where I actually like learned about like programming as a craft, where you can actually like create stuff that like is in itself an intellectually interesting discipline, and it also could be also a fulfilling career. So basically, like sophomore year of college, I started working on just learning some coding myself. Spent sophomore summer teaching myself how to code, and was focusing mostly on that junior senior year. My actual like major is economics, but like I was doing like basically coding any place I could like excuse it academic wise, like in all my time. And so yeah, the impetus to make things is always there, but it wasn't really until college where I actually like had a medium to use it for.
Oh, awesome. And like, how was it? Was your major like computer science in college, or?
So my major is economics. I did application of computer science as they call it a certificate at Princeton. But I was like basically like doing a lot of computer science near the end.
All right, awesome. So then like, after that, did you just jump into Jopwell, or like were there other companies you worked in?
So I jumped into Jopwell. So Porter Braswell, we went to the same high school, and basically as I was considering actually starting my own thing, we reconnected, and he explained that they were building this like website to help minorities get jobs. And I was like, oh crap, that's awesome. I can like keep doing like this awesome thing called coding, and at the same time be able to actually like give access to others out there. So it was a no-brainer to be able to help on like start building a website from there.
Oh, awesome. So then like, what are the things that you guys have noticed that has been almost like a pitfall, especially for people of color who wanted to get into tech?
Yeah. So I would say one major pitfall has been, I guess, an aversion or some sort of like feeling that not is able to go into STEM fields. So I actually had applied to Princeton as an engineer, but when I started, realistically I could have like just done computer science in the beginning, but basically there is this feeling that STEM fields are too hard or like wouldn't be able to keep up academically, and so I think that's a general trend, and like in my own instance of that, I had switched to just doing economics. That seemed like the more safe and reliable path. I ended up going back against the grain on that, but for whatever this sort of like STEM is too hard, I don't know where it comes from, but it's definitely not true. There are crazy smart people out there who like should be doing these types of paths, because doing technology, be able to actually go out there and like create something that's valuable to the world, because it's really just a matter of just studying and like asking for help when you need to do so, and just learning more about what's actually out there. And so I don't know how, but I definitely want things like people in color and tech, or just like all the sorts of like just media and so forth. And I hope to be able to help myself and just like getting across this idea that It's just like any other, like, it's like any other sport, right? You just like, if you practice it over and over again, then you'll learn the basics of it, then you can go on from there. And dispelling this sense that it's too hard, because it's not too hard. You can, as long as you try, you can do it.
Oh, okay, awesome. And what about to, I guess, tech companies? Like, what have you realized the trend of why there hasn't been diversity yet in like the tech industry?
So I think I was saying a little bit earlier, but the idea that a lot of times people hire from their networks, and if their networks don't look, that aren't that diverse, then you'll have a hard time finding diversity. So I wouldn't say it's some sort of like attempt at like, or lack of effort so much as just we've been hiring, we've been growing, and all of a sudden we realize we're at 300 people and everyone looks the same, and you realize too late, like, oh man, like maybe we should do something about that. Like it's just kind of something that happens, and something that like we definitely want to help a lot with, to being like, hey, like, continue hiring the best people for the role, but just make sure that you're considering like people across all different backgrounds, not just exactly the same background every single time.
All right, awesome. And what about like, and I know that you, after I guess college and your certificate program, you jumped into Jobwell, right? So it's been pretty much a going into a huge like diversity pool. Like from what I've seen with Jobwell, like you guys consciously hire to make sure that even your employees are diverse from each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like, have you had any obstacles as a person of color in tech? And if so, what were they and how did you overcome them?
I would say the biggest obstacle has been and continues to be just a not knowing who else is out there. Just being it isn't as many people out there, it seems like, and it's just trying to find the pockets where people are, just trying to connect and reach out to people who are doing similar things. That's been something that's just like at Jopwell we're trying to solve. Myself, I'm just trying to solve. It's just like a thing of just like getting everyone in the same place, or trying to, in some sense, and being aware of like what else is out there, just to make sure to just know other people are out there.
Okay, awesome. And just two final questions, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
One is, how do you hone your craft as a programmer?
Mm-hmm.
Is there any like sites you go to, or anything that you do specifically to like build on that?
So I read a lot. I try and well, Hacker News is what I go on each day, but in terms of just like overall, I have like a list of things I want to learn, and like even though I don't have as many hours as I want to, I just still try and chip away at this reading list. Pretty much my big thing has been trying to go towards just higher order languages. So I like day to day, I end up working a lot on the front end of our site, which uses JavaScript. JavaScript is a super cool language because it can be programmed. Sorry, I'm getting into detail on this, but JavaScript is language that can be programmed like in a traditional object-oriented way or in a functional way. Functional languages seem to be or a higher order language allows you to do more interesting things, and languages that traditionally like uses more, or Lisp, like that's like the high end of it. And so just going toward more understanding more like functional type code, like just trying to learn a little bit of Lisp on the side, as well as like learning the actual like stack we use. Those type of things are just like chipping away at different areas that are very much outside of the direct thing I'm using, but still like that's where the influence of these concepts come from, is the way I try to like broaden my base. So to rephrase that, I feel like I got a little off track there. Basically, like with programming languages, there's always been this thing of C, which is like this way of actually like programming a computer, and Lisp, which is this, like functional programming language for like actual higher order stuff. And so learning from both disciplines at the same time is definitely a way to like go across both ways and like know a lot about just computers in general, in order to like know like why this set of code is written this way, or this language is actually used this particular way. Just having that like perspective on just like the entire discipline is something I find just super useful to like being able to approach any particular problem.
Interesting. Now, and then also like getting from essentially, it's really interesting to me because you essentially learned how to code, right? Mm-hmm. And now you're CTO. Mm-hmm. So how has it been like pretty much like running your own like tech department and mm-hmm. owning your own business?
Mm-hmm. I would say it like how has it been in the sense of like what problems are okay. I would say the biggest problem is just it not problem but just like thing to know is just realizing in any technical field, a lot of it is just understanding like the details of a particular like subject matter. And so, especially being cognizant of my own background, I feel very confident in my ability to like given a certain problem and like access the right set of knowledge to be able to like go about it and approach it in the right way. That being said, though, I'm not going to be the one who knows all the details of a particular thing. So just because I haven't had as like, much experience, so it's learning like the process of reaching out to the right people within our team as well as outside of JobWell to like just basically say, hey, here's this problem. Like here are like these broad areas I'm aware that like we should be looking into, but just curious to hear your thoughts on like what do you think is relevant? What do you think is not relevant? And we have to learn a lot from there. Just having this constant expectation of like just constantly be learning. I think that's going to be that's been the most effective thing so far is to like always be in the mode of learning. And that's going to be the most effective thing going forward for myself and everyone else. It's just always be learning because there's going to always be another thing. There's always going to be another problem. And you're never going to be the one who knows the most about it. So like if you're just like super open about it, just open learning and just listening to like people's like suggestions and so forth, that's what's going to get us there. And that's all I'm trying to do day to day.
All right, awesome. Yeah, and it seems like you're really enjoying your CTO role. So
yeah, it's been a lot of fun. There's a lot of really amazing stuff we're doing that, I mean, there's a lot of there's a lot of cool technology that we're on the cusp of basically building out that astounds me that no one's done before, but like when it's actually out there, it's going to be just such a huge game changer. So I am super excited to be able to actually start doing it.
Is there anything you would be or you would want to announce that like JobWell is doing or are going to do in the near future?
Not yet, but soon.
You're like, no. Oh, awesome. Well, actually, final question is like the usual question I ask. Do you have 3 tips that you could give someone who wants to pursue either programming or being in the tech industry?
So just, I guess to answer like 3 tips for someone who wants to be in the tech industry. One is even if you're not interested in necessarily being a programmer, just learning basic code or basic console code, like just taking the intro to CS class that are like either online or like at school if you're still in school is going to pay massive dividends for just understanding why things work the way they do, as well as like learning how to approach any sort of real technical problem. It's more of a learning a way of thinking and how to structure that in a formal way than anything else. So that's the first thing. Is just even just Code Academy, just learn to code. 2 is this thing I was saying before about always be learning. There are a lot of things that seem like they wouldn't really connect in a lot of different ways that are very much connected. I mean, people who haven't really programmed before think about this like super logical, just like way of thinking, but it's more closer to like an art. It's closer to a craft than it is anything else. And people have this way of like looking at it. When you actually are doing it, you're looking at it both in the sense of how to actually create this process, but also how to do it in a particularly good way. You have to both be very logical about it, but also come as almost artistic in a way about like how to actually like do good code and make sure like you don't have smelly code come out of it, or just like how to have a good product or a sense of aesthetic, whether that be in the actual code or what the thing it actually produces or the thing it looks like. So that's the second thing. And third thing is try to think a lot about what something could be if you were to like improve this particular thing. A lot of what what we're doing day to day is taking this small thing and turning it into an even better thing. And so it's kind of like, if you were to add to this system, if you were to like make something to improve this system, how would you do so? The great thing about tech in general is that you're essentially creating tools that make people's lives better. If you're able to like just instead of assuming the world is this fixed way and think about like what's missing and then what you can build so that further places missing. If you actually go about doing that, you've actually made the world better, and like it's that simple. And so like that's like one step process that also like when you get more into it, it's a pretty amazing thing you can do. Is just think through a problem and then either you or someone else, or like working with someone else, can like write some code to like make this problem solve. It's incredible.
Awesome. Well, we are done with our interview. So let me just stop the podcast.